Yes, siruma mim yerkira.
Yes, sirumem im yerkira. Sirumem yes, sirumem im yerkira.
Yes, sirumem im yerkira. Yes, sirumem im yerkira.
Yes, sirumem im yerkira. Yes, sirumem.
Sirumem im yerkira.
You are tuned into the Armenian Radio Hour of New Jersey on 89.5 FM, the radio station of Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey. My name is Diran Jebejan, and we're very happy that joining us in the studio is Mr. Nazar Altun. Nazar is a board member of the Hovnanian Armenian School in New Milford, New Jersey, and he is here to discuss several things, which the primary of which will be the search that the school, the board of directors, as well as the search committee have taken on to find a new principal. Nazar, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Tira.
Absolutely. We briefly, Vartan and I briefly touched upon Hovnanian School in this area, an amazing school for 36 years. Thousands of students have gone through the hallways of the school. Many of our, several of our volunteers that are here in the studio today are graduates of the school. And we want to know primarily about the search, but before that, I know you have two things that you wanted to say. You wanted to correct two things that we said.
That's right. I want to thank you for having me on here, and this goes to the first thing I want to say. You mentioned that everyone knows about the Hovnanian Armenian School. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised at the number of Armenian families I meet on a monthly basis in Bergen County that don't know about the school. So, I'm happy to be here to talk about the school. I'm hoping we can reach out to other Armenian families so they know about this treasure that we have here. Mm-hmm. Second, Vartan mentioned that we've lost Mrs. Garmirian. Mm-hmm. That couldn't be further from the truth. Mrs. Garmirian is still involved with the school. She's on our search committee. And in her position at the Gulbenkian Foundation, we are hoping that we can work hand in hand, and she will be providing us with guidance on the Armenian curriculum. The curriculum that she's created at the school is part of the reason that she's going to the Gulbenkian Foundation. And we hope that our school will remain a model in the Armenian community and internationally as to what an Armenian curriculum should look like.
I'm glad that you made those corrections, and I want to talk about the search primarily right now. What is the committee doing in order to find a principal? The preliminary steps that you've taken, and what can our listeners and people that are involved in this, what can they anticipate coming down the road?
Sure. When we found out that Mrs. Garmirian was going to be leaving us, the board of directors immediately put together a search committee. The idea behind the search committee is to take its time to search far and wide for a principal, the right principal for the school. This is going to take some time. We're in the preliminary stages right now. We've been working all summer. We've gotten some resumes, and we're vetting them right now. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on right now. The committee is not going to pick the principal. Rather, the committee will pick, provide the board with certain choices for the board to make. So we envision giving the board 3 choices, for example, and then the board will pick the next principal of the school.
Are there certain qualities? Obviously, there are certain qualities that a principal requires. Does Hovnanian require anything beyond maybe a public school, an American public school that would fulfill its needs?
Well, the Hovnanian school provides its students with a very progressive education. We focus on the whole child. We don't want to graduate kids that are amazing at math and science. Well, we do want to do that, but that's not all we're focusing on. So we want to create a well-developed, well-rounded student so that they are, when you ask parents, most parents come to us and they say, we want a child that's great at math and great at science. But when you ask them, what kind of human being do you want your child to be? The answer you get is very different. They want somebody who's sociable, who gives back, and that's the kind of student we want to create. And so we're looking for educators who focus on that, who aren't solely focused on the academics, but also focused on the child. The curriculum we have now is very personalized towards each child, and we really focus on the arts, language, science, math, all of it together, and the language, Armenian, French, and English, to create an excellent, well-rounded student.
And you said that you guys want the students to be able to give back and become a well-rounded student. And I've been to the last 2 or 3 graduations that Hovnanian has had, and previous students that have graduated come back and they speak about what they give to the community. And that's interesting that you said that, because that's something that I've noted specifically, that each student that has spoken, or graduates that come back and just are there to be present for the graduation, are giving back to their community already, 1 year removed from the school, 2 years removed from the school. So that's very important, and I've actually witnessed that. So
it's by design, and this is part of what Mrs. Gadmirian's curriculum was about. So you would have 8th grade students come in and teach the kindergarten students for half an hour. Right. And this is the kind of thing, it's the kind of example you set, so that when these kids grow up and go somewhere else or are working, they come back and they give their time.
You mentioned that this is Mrs. Gadmirian's kind of her template for the education. Tell me a little bit more about her. Obviously her loss is going to be, the fact that she's not going to be principal anymore is going to be a huge void. But she's moving on to something, and you said with the Gulbenkian Foundation, and she's going to still be working with you guys.
Yes, that's the plan. We hope that Mrs. Gadmirian, in her position at Gulbenkian, will be able to work with us on developing our Armenian curriculum. One thing about Mrs. Gadmirian leaving, I'd like to point out, it's been very difficult for all of us. The teachers loved her, the students loved her, the parents loved her. That being said, I don't think our community should be afraid of change. Change can oftentimes lead to very good things. A different point of view, a different angle of looking at things can change things for the better. While we're sad to see Mrs. Gadmirian go, I'm also very excited about what the future is going to bring for the school.
And what kind of things are we looking at in the future? And that is going to lead to my next question, which is how can people that may be listening and maybe they know candidates, or if they're interested in applying for the position, how can they apply?
Well, if anyone listening knows of any candidates, the candidates should apply through email at hovnaniansearch@gmail.com.
Okay.
And that email will go to the search committee. So that's how people should get in touch with us. I want to say a little bit about the committee itself.
Sure.
The committee is not just people from the school. So we have parents, we have teachers, we have board members, and then we have people from outside the school who are educators or have experience in this kind of executive search process and educational leadership, who are all providing the information that we need to try and find the best candidates here.
And I'm not going to ask for names, obviously, but you've received candidates already?
We have,
at this point. Okay, and you're in the process of, I guess, weeding out may not be the right word, but looking for the proper person, obviously, that you want in the position. How long is the search going to take? It's not going to be tomorrow, obviously.
No, we would be doing the school a disservice. First of all, we have an interim team in place of teachers from who've worked with Mrs. Gadmirian. Paulette Locaro is our interim principal, and Silva Mesropian is the vice principal in charge of our Armenian curriculum. Okay. They're working and administering the school today, and will continue to do so this semester and next. We're not rushing to find the principal. We're going to take our time and find the right person. So the committee's been working on it. Yes, we have received many applications,
Right.
and we're working through those applications to see who we have.
I was there last week just picking up my niece, and obviously everything is in order. The school is running day-to-day operations, so nothing has skipped a beat.
Nothing has skipped a beat.
And
it's business as usual.
And it's just a matter of once the principal is found, hopefully, he or she will have his or her own things to do, but it'll be in place and the school will continue running as is.
That's right. The saying, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So Mrs. Garminian has built the foundation here.
Mm-hmm.
Her leaving does not change that.
Yes. Խորեն գարձեմ մեկ հատ հարցում Նազարին համար թունավորնից։
Այո, դիրան գուզեի բարոն Ալտունին հարցնել թե անբաժար պետք է որ նոր դոնորենը լա հայախոս կամ կիդնա հայրեն։
Մեզի համար ամենակարևորը լավ դոնորենումը գտնալն է, դպրոցին համար ամենաջիշտ դոնորենը։ Հարգավ եթե երկու դոնորեն գտնանք, որ մեկը օդար է, մեկը հայ է, բայց մյուս ամեն բաները նույնն են, կնախընտրենք հայը։ Բայց եթե օդար դոնորեն մտնանք, որ իրապես դպրոցին լավ պիտի լա, չեմ գնարս որ չի պիտի board of trustee-ներ ունտանինք անանոնը, որ հարգավ վերջապես board-ը biz որոշես, բայց գնա օդար մեկը լա, հարգավ օդար մեկը լան է, անպայման vice principal կամ assistant դոնորեն մը պետք է լա, որ հայկական curriculum-ին նայի, որ հարգավ հայկական գողմնա դպրոցին զորավոր մնա։
Nazar, just before we wrap up, I just want to confirm hovnaniansearch@gmail.com. That's the
right.
address where people can reach out. Anything else before we close?
No, again, thank you very much for having me. And there is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Garmirian is going to be back in the States the first week of October. The school will be hosting an event in her honor on October 4th, the evening of October 4th, and I believe the information may be on your website or will be put up on your website. So I urge the listeners to attend.
Absolutely. Saturday, October 4th, there is going to be an event honoring her, and we are going to talk about that also. And later in our broadcast, we have two Hovnanian alumnus who are sitting with us, Adrina and Anush Gulyan, and we're going to talk about that with them also. Nazar, we thank you very much for joining us and giving us all this information. Hovnaniansearch@gmail.com. If you or anybody that you know is interested in applying for the position, or you know anybody who is interested in the position, please reach out to them, and the committee will get back to you immediately.
Immediately.
Once you submit. Nazar, thank you very much for joining us.